Hello and welcome to another episode of First Blood. Sorry we're running a little bit late, but we're running late and we're early, so it's a massive clusterfuck, what we've come to expect from our show. Basically, we've had to bring it forward a little bit because Ram wants to play fucking Warlords all night, the new...
Warlords of Draenor hype, boys!
Yeah, you fucking wow nerd. But we're gonna have plenty of time to talk about League. Anyway, I'm Richard Lewis, the host. You all know who I am. My two co-hosts, as always, every week we've got Ram Brokenshard, Jamal. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man.
Yeah,
I'm
good to
ready to flame everybody now.
awesome. And well, I'm looking forward to that. Plenty to talk about on that front. And of course, we've got Joshua Nintendude Atkins outside and looking a bit, just enjoying the California high life.
We're fucking live from the back porch of the Fusion Gaming House. How about that?
Fucking living the dream. Living the dream. And, this is the reality
House,
of the
everybody's moving shit in.
situation. we had some guests lined up, and then nobody wanted to come on the show because of the fucking expansion tournament. Everyone was too scared. Everyone pussied out, and the only person who was manly enough to come on was our guest here, which is Burke Gilius Demir, who is the jungler currently with Demon Logs. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing good.
Awesome. So how we normally start the show is we talk to our guest about, how things have been going for them and what they've been doing in their career. One question that I think kind of hovers over everything is what happened with Unicorns of Love and all that? What went on?
So I think basically we were friends with Kikis in LA.
Mm-hmm.
We were like hanging out with him and stuff. And the team was like, I think, thinking, wow, this guy is so much better than our current jungler.
Mm-hmm.
And then the promotion ended and we like went back and stuff, and I went to Worlds and they told me that they will scrim with Kikis.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it made no sense to scrim at that time, and I was like, okay, I'm kicked. And yeah, then they I came back and they told me, yeah, we like Kikis more. Bye. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, was it? So you just got fucked, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, there was no like
That's
big
brutal,
reason.
dude.
Yeah, like when they told me why, they are like, well, Kikis adores the team so much and brings a great attitude into the team, and yeah, I don't know.
I think he's got a great attitude because Kikis just really, 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 really wants to play in the LCS. Like,
Yeah.
he's a nice guy and all, but I mean, that guy has been trying longer than I have to get into the LCS.
Wow, okay.
God, that's not a good place. Not a good place to start. Well, look, I'm glad you're here and on the show, and I'm sure Demon Log's gonna do very well. Looking forward to following their progress throughout the expansion tournament. Anyway, let's get to the week's business. Lots to talk about. I'm gonna start with something topical. Let's talk about Fnatic fighting to keep xPeke. We talked a little bit about this on Trash Talk last night, the phone-in show that I do. Basically, to give you an appraisal of the situation, it was reported by me, obviously, who else, that Fnatic had been kind of locked in this battle to keep their star mid laner, who has decided that he would like to try and do things himself, maybe branch out and have his own organization, his own team, or certainly just a fresh challenge as he enters the twilight of his League of Legends career. It's not entirely clear if Fnatic are going to be able to keep hold of him because xPeke has a buyout clause in his contract, which I understand he would be willing to pay himself. Similar situation to Reckless. So, guys, what do we make of this? I'm kind of surprised because xPeke is one of those players who is synonymous with the Fnatic brand. I mean, Fnatic and xPeke go together like, I don't know, peaches and cream, right?
I mean,
Yeah,
it's like that in a way, but just something to bring up, it's that a lot of people were giving Reckless a lot of hate because they felt like he was betraying his teammates by wanting to leave. But it seems that he's not the only one that kind of wants to leave. And this kind of brings up a big point into a topic that we were discussing a lot in the past shows, where that Fnatic have not the players of Fnatic have expressed not like they weren't very happy with the Fnatic org and there have been plans to leave that org since late spring of 2013. So I'm a little bit surprised that it took this long before it like shit kind of hit the fan, but not surprising at all that it's happening now.
So what about your thoughts, Josh? I know it's obviously European stuff, but this is juicy.
Yeah.
This
I
is
mean, no, this is great. I mean, obviously, as someone who doesn't pay as much attention to Europe, you know, buzzword of the day, said it again, but I don't pay as much attention to Europe, so I don't see that it's they're having trouble with Fnatic. So, like to me, xPeke is like this franchise player for Fnatic, and it would really suck to see them like leave on bad terms, you know, because I mean he's played with them for what 4 seasons now. So as like a spectator for me, like that would seem really shitty if like he wanted out this whole time or however long it's just now happening. Like that kind of hurts to see, but it's really interesting to see that Fnatic's trying to hold on to him so hard, and just the whole contract thing in general. It seems with League esports right now, it seems to be a lot of situations of like people want to hold on to players like via contracts, and so I think contracts in general are going to become more interesting, like within the next couple seasons.
Well, he did. Well, or rather, it was alluded to that he would be open to perhaps a move to NA. Is there any particular teams you could see xPeke slotting into if he did make the move across the Atlantic?
I mean, CLG is openly saying like we're looking for a mid laner. I mean, Scar's posted multiple times on Twitter like, "Hey, what if you're really serious about a tryout? Like, hit me up. Here's the contact info." So I mean, CLG's like the only name that really comes to mind. But a lot of teams are making their moves fast and quick. And I mean, Voyboy just left too, so Curse needs a mid laner as well, and I'm pretty sure they don't have one lined up. So
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, there's kind of opportunities galore right now for really good teams that he could join.
Well, it's interesting because, you know, I brought up that point yesterday myself about the, you know, possibility of xPeke maybe moving to Curse, but somebody said, I think because of the situation they had with the nationalities they already had on the team, that wouldn't be possible, that wouldn't be viable.
It could be because Piglet would be the only foreigner on that team. I know Quas is considered a Venezuelan, but by now wouldn't he be there's like a certain rule, I forgot what it was called, the name.
The grandfathering, right?
Is it the grandfathering? Yeah,
Yeah.
it would, if it applied to Santorin, then shouldn't it apply to Quas as well? Which would basically make him the third part, along with Dominate and Special.
Does that? I mean, I don't know if that qualifies like being Venezuelan. Does it have to do with just like being foreign or being in a foreign LCS region?
I think. Ooh.
Well,
Because, I mean,
even the chat can't agree. They're going mad. Some people are saying Quaz is considered a resident because he's been there 2 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know. I mean, if that is the case, that's something that I'm sure Curse could look into. Although we did notice that Liquid suddenly, the Curse manager suddenly followed Pobelter from nowhere.
Ooh,
on
Curse
Twitter
Pobelter.
the other day.
Where have we heard that
man.
before?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Just saying. What about you, Gilius? I'll bring you into the conversation. Obviously, you'll be very familiar with xPeke as a player and Fnatic as an organization. If Fnatic were to lose xPeke, do you think Fnatic can rebuild, given that there's not a lot of time to get a new team together?
I think there's a lot of talent in solo queue for mid laners, and I think it's pretty easy to replace him.
Really?
I don't think xPeke is like so special.
That's a brutal appraisal. But I mean, some people were saying that this season that he hadn't shined and he hadn't looked like his old self this split. But then he went to Worlds and he stepped up his game. He looked really good, I thought.
Yeah, I don't think he will play like as tryhard as like in Worlds, because I think xPeke is pretty tired of playing in the LCS. I think it's so casual for him. I think. Yeah, I don't think he's like trying his best in the LCS anymore.
But I also got to say as well, an organization of Fnatic's stature, you know, this great team and great organization, they can't go looking in solo queue for talent, can they? They need to sign a star. Don't you think?
That's true. I'm not sure if. I'm not sure what they will do.
Yeah, Yeah, I think Fnatic are a little bit boned when it comes to what they want. Because I mean, if we're going to talk about xPeke leaving, we should also talk about what the main rumor is, which is xPeke taking Cyanide and Soaz along with him and forming his own brand and his own challenger team and try to qualify into the LCS in summer of 2015. Because that's kind of what the rumor is. And
yeah, that is the rumor. Although I would say I've heard variations on this.
Obviously.
One that involves Soaz remaining at Fnatic.
Well, the one that I've heard and the one that seems to be what's happening is Cyanide, Peke, and Soaz on a challenger team with one former LCS player and one challenger player, basically under a challenger brand, competing in the Coke League and making LCS in summer. Well, obviously the goal is to make LCS in summer of 2015.
Interesting. So let's move into the realms of even more wild speculation here. And again, Josh will like this because it involves someone that he'll know about from his NA days. And that is that one of the things that actually is getting talked about is that if Fnatic do lose Reckless to Alliance, which is looking increasingly likely, and they do lose xPeke to xPeke going to form his own brand, because they're going to have a very limited time frame to get a team together, and they would effectively have to rebuild almost everything. Yellow Star and Soaz are unaccounted for, but it's very hard to imagine they would just kind of sit there and be like, build a team around us. But anyway, one of the options they could be exploring is Dexter and Dexter's team.
The Dexter lineup.
Yeah, the fabled Dexter lineup.
Dexter's Lab, baby.
Yeah,
we just coined that Dexter's Lab.
Yeah.
We talked a bit about how Niels XD, the challenger AD carry, was the front runner for that team. As the AD carry, but it seems that it's being pointed at Tabs being the AD carry of that team, alongside Dexter, and speculations about Kurt playing top lane and not.
Yeah, I what I've heard, I would say, is that Dexter and Kerp, I think, is a lock for whatever team that comes out of there, possibly with Tabs as well. And I know that when the whole Reckless thing was jumping off, one of the Fnatic strategies potentially was to look at Tabs as a replacement. You trade out the supposed number 1 AD carry for the number 2. That was the kind of thinking behind it. And then having the superior support in the form of Yellow Star, perhaps he can get up to a level that we didn't get to see at Alliance. I think that's kind of one of the things that Fnatic looked at as a strategy should the worst come to the worst.
Foreign players is also an option. Like, we didn't talk about how they could also look to Korea. Millennium did it. Fnatic definitely kind of have the money to do it. I mean, it's Fnatic. That's also a potential that they pick up foreign players.
On the subject of them having the money, and again, I'm not going to cast any aspersions about Fnatic's finances, but when they talk to Spirit, our source on that story was that Spirit was asking for, funny money, as it was called, like too much, and Fnatic weren't willing to pay it. So I don't know. I mean, right now with China kind of luring all of the top foreign talent away, if you can't match China, then I don't think you're necessarily going to get your pick of the players.
I mean, then how did Millennium get Ryu and Horo, unless those players aren't really sought after?
China didn't want Ryu. I don't know.
Maybe China really want Ryu or Horo.
I mean, Horo is pretty good, but at that point, was Ryu a top prospect for mid? Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah, you got a point there. Horo for sure, but not. Maybe I'm not convinced with Ryu. Especially actually after seeing him play, maybe you could argue that the tournaments were not as try-hard, but he had some okay games, but nothing really super good. I mean, Gilius would probably know as good as me about Ryu. Have you played the new Millennium? Like, have you played Horo or Ryu in solo queue?
No, I didn't. But I heard that Horo is a god and Ryu is like, okay.
Yeah, I also heard that Horo was basically like a super jungler, like really good jungler for challenger scene, whereas Ryu was like, I guess.
And the thing Super Hot Crew didn't want him. Super Hot Crew lineup, when Impaler went, they could have had Horo.
Yeah, but I guess they're just going for some amazing pickups.
Well, apparently they didn't like him because they didn't want to bring a Korean in.
I mean, Last Shadow's the coach, I guess. I think actually I don't want to say it. I'm not going to say it. I was going to say, like, Last Shadow is like basically the EU. For us, would be the EU, since he's coaching an EU team, like the EU equivalent of Monte Cristo, where knows a lot about the Korean scene. I would what's the word? Fuck. I would expect that if Slash Shadow was the head coach of Super Hockey, which he is, that they would really want to pick up Horo, but I guess that isn't the case.
Yeah, it's interesting. So here's a question for you, Gilius. I'm gonna put you in a bit of role play here. You're the manager of Fnatic, okay?
Yes.
You've got, I don't know, a few weeks to basically get the shit together. xPeke is looking like he's going to leave. Reckless looks like he's going to leave. But of course, you have got them contracted. And you could potentially force them to honor those contracts. What would you do? How would you rebuild Fnatic? Or would you fight tooth and nail to keep those players? What would your strategy be?
So I would try out the best ADC in the ladder and the best mid laner in the ladder. I like the best mid laners. Just try them out and look who's the best. Then like choose one of them, scrim a lot with him, and look if he can fill the role.
What players do you think that would be though? So if it was you, are there any players you would have in mind? Any individuals?
So the best ADC in Europe right now is Niels XD, like Svenilan is his other name.
You mean
he's
in
like,
Challenger, right?
He's so freaking good. Like I think he's even on the level of Reckless.
Ooh.
So yeah, like he can even be better than Reckless. I think. Like if you form him into like a team player.
I'm gonna have to interject for one
He's
second.
amazing, really.
It's funny that you say Niels or Svenilan because he's actually the AD carry that's rumored to be playing with the xPeke team that's leaving Fnatic.
Oh yeah.
So Fnatic wouldn't exactly be able to get him if Pekka does leave and picks him up for his team.
Yeah, if they can't get Niels, then there's no better replacement for Reckless. I don't think so.
Josh, I'll bring you in. Similar question. So this is going to be like super hard role play for you because you've got to think in European terms. But let's just say I know you're
My fetish.
He might like fall asleep halfway through the fucking answer.
Let's try. So it's the same question. You're an American overlord. You've purchased Fnatic. The first thing you've got to deal with is fixing that team, fixing that roster. What would you do? And don't say Americans, please.
Who do I have left? Who do I have left?
Well, perhaps nobody.
Perhaps nobody.
Wait, let's actually really take a look at the ladder. I guess if we're talking about
damn it, Ram! This is Fnatic Manager 2014 time for me. Let's not look at the ladder.
I mean, think about Febivin for a sec. He's top of the ladder 4 accounts in Challenger. He would probably be the front runner for the mid laner for any LCS team looking to pick someone off the Challenger. So I'm just helping you out here, Josh.
Don't think H2K will be happy to hear him being linked with that, though.
No, probably not. I'm just saying that if anyone would be looking for a new mid laner, he would probably be the best mid laner outside of LCS that can actually play LCS, not counting Nuke Duck and Incarnation, of course, for that obvious reason.
Well, yeah, so, I mean, look, let Josh have his moment, Ram. Just let him have his moment, and then I'll interject with some even more wild speculation.
Ooh.
Come on,
well,
you can do this.
I'd hope that if I was Fnatic at this point, I could get on my hands and knees and plead for Yellow Star to stay, because I think he's pretty vital in at least keeping 3 out of 5 Europeans, and if he's not poached yet, then like keep him. So after you have Yellow Star, you ask him what he wants to do, and you say, okay, yes, Yellow Star, because he probably knows better than I do. But okay. I would probably look for a European mid and AD carry and look for a foreign top and jungler. That's probably what I would do.
Okay. So here's the wild speculation. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but apparently the Riot Player Behavior Team, or whatever the fuck they call themselves, they're having a big meeting in December.
The unacceptable behavior team, basically.
Yeah. The Flame Squad. Basically, they get together and they're going to have a meeting about, there's a few people involved, like I think Mithy and Nuke Duck, because even though they were banned until the end of the season, it wasn't a ban until the end of the season. It's we will review it in December,
that's basically how it's always been. It's always been.
So there's no necessarily a guarantee they're going to be unbanned. And during that meeting, they're going to have talks about Incarnation and him potentially getting unbanned. So, I mean, if you were an organization looking for a mid laner, there's the undisputed best, certainly mechanically, best in terms of raw talent, mid laner available. Would you be kind of hanging on until December and thinking, ooh, maybe we can, give Riot a friendly nudge and bring him in.
Let's add some more speculation, right? Reckless
Okay, let's do
stated
it.
that he wants to play with Incarnation. So how funny would that be if Fnatic get Incarnation? Reckless like, yo guys, I want to play with you again. And actually, it's even funnier because the reason that Peke and Co want to leave, part of it is because Reckless is leaving as well. So it's kind of like full circle. Like Reckless leaves, all right, I'm out. Peke leaves, all right, I'm out. Incarnation, you're on. Whoa, guys, I'm Reckless. I want to come back. Peke's like, yo, guys, I want to come back. Reckless is there. I think it's just funny that if they do get Incarnation, Reckless has stated that his dream team would be with Incarnation on it. So would that herald the return of the Fnatic Reckless?
I think, I gotta say, from what I understand, I think, talk about burning bridges, that everyone can spam the burn bridge emote as much as they want, but we've burned some bridges on this show, but my understanding is the Reckless situation has burnt bridges left, right, and center. The management are incredibly disappointed in a player that they feel they've invested a lot in. Reckless is incredibly disappointed that they won't let him leave because he thinks he deserves, to be on a team where he feels like he can win things. And his teammates are pissed off at him, and he's pissed off at them for not being, as hardworking as he would like, apparently. So I don't see any way back for him and Fnatic at this point. If I was the Fnatic management, I would have let him go straight away. Like, the minute this problem reared its head, I would have been like, look, whatever. If there's a buyout clause, fuck it. Let's take the money. Keeping a player who don't want to play for you is so counterproductive, dude. It's just like, just let him go. And then if they hadn't dragged their heels on that, maybe xPeke and all that aren't trying to maneuver away from the organization as well. So it feels like, I don't know, they dragged their heels a bit on some key decisions. But I don't think Reckless can, I don't know, rebuild the bridge, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, say that, but I think if for some reason Fnatic is able to pull Incarnation miraculously out of the hells of permaban, then I think you can kind of reconcile with Reckless, because you will have a remotivated Reckless that wants to play with Incarnation and a very solid core for a pretty insane roster. And at that point, if Reckless says, I want back, you say, okay, Reckless, because he's the best AD carry in Europe. He is your best option. And sure, he's young, he's going to be pissed and all that, but you can get over that.
Yeah. So I think we'll wrap up the Fnatic thing. I mean, I think what we can agree is, out of all of the teams on both sides of the water, I think Fnatic have probably had the most upsetting off-season. I can't think of another team that's had anything close to the level of complications and horror that, the Fnatic guys are facing. So
it's rough for them because they're potentially losing 4 out of 5 players. And while they do get to potentially keep Yellowstar, like one of the, regarded as probably the best support in EU, it doesn't seem that EU kind of has the talent to fill that team and make it a second place team. Like Fnatic, I guess we're a first place team up till now, and then just recently they got second place at EU. Excuse me, wow, that was really bad. I can smell the kebab.
Yeah,
we ordered kebab.
All the hot pockets that you've been eating in anticipation of your World of Warcraft, right?
It'd be really hard for them to rebuild because they would really need to pick up someone from from another region, because EU just doesn't have the talent to fill that in. God damn it, fucking chat now.
Okay, so we'll move on to the next topic. Sam, be ready with the graphic. Be ready with the graphic. So, yeah, the next thing we want to talk about is, and this is where Josh is going to get to go ham, Voyboy announced that he was leaving Curse and was going to continue streaming. Didn't know what was next for him in the, great chapter of Voyboy's life. We talked about this again on Trash Talk last night, and I was like, this is just another example of a player that's probably been tempted by the vast amounts of money he could be making if he could stream more frequently, and wasn't kind of shackled to the 6 to 8 hours a day of practice regimen, which you can't be streaming in. Equally, by the same token, people have had questions about his performance.
What the fuck am I looking at?
So,
Oh my god.
So basically,
Life's like a box of chocolates, just seeing nerds.
well, yeah, or life is like a box of cash if you're a streamer rather than an LCS player. So, Josh, my point to you would be, and this is a move that's motivated by money, right? I mean, we can dress it up however we want. And again, I love Voyboy to bits, but I guess there's this kind of, when the rewards are greater for being a streamer than they are for being a player, players are obviously going to make this choice.
I don't think it's entirely money. I think it's also like, hey, I can do this and still be comfortable and not deal with the stress. I mean, he's probably been talking to some people about like the stress of LCS, and I mean, it is stressful. I mean, it's not going to get any easier. It's only going to get
Lag.
Yeah,
Lag.
it's only going to get...
Froghead, no! No,
Yeah,
He's gone.
you jump in where Josh was kind of going with that. I mean, I got to say, Voyboy is an emotional guy, and he has been upset at some of the criticism he's got. I'm sure that is a factor, actually.
yeah, but he's also, oh my god, Josh's face is just killing me. He's also got like a really good stream, just like based off his personality and the way that he talks to his viewers. I think at one point Voyboy had like the most viewers that he broke a record or something. I don't remember if that was the case, but it happened once. And maybe because I know that recently Curse left Twitch, left Azubu, and now we're with Twitch. It also could have fueled it because Voyboy gets a lot of viewers. People like his stream. He's got a good personality.
Absolutely.
It's got a good mix of like intellectual like educational value. People can learn things.
I got to say this, right? Like, I watch a lot of streams just to keep on top of what the kids are down with these days, so I can sound
The hip
cool.
young lingo, yeah.
Yeah, you know how it is.
We get it, Richard. You're old, all right?
And, I like a lot of people talk about, oh, Night Blue's got this really educational stream. I think hands down, like, Voyboys was always... when he was streaming on Twitch, always more educational. He actually really took the time to explain pretty much every play he was making, every move, build, runes, everything. Like, he went so in depth that actually when he played a marathon on one particular champion, you did learn a lot about it. And I think he has a lot of value as an educational streamer. I think that was one of the reasons it was popular. That and the fact that he's so fucking nice. I mean... It's hard to believe he's a real person.
He's funny. Don't compare Voyboy's stream to Night Blue's stream. That's just an insult to Voyboy's stream, buddy.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, for me, it's a far superior product.
He's also super funny, and people like that shit. Like the whole Sea Nerds thing. He's got that NA personality that people really, really like. And I know that as an LCS player, he gets a lot of criticism. He might be quite successful, but as an actual streamer, he'll be very successful. Like rolling in that money.
Yeah. So what about you, Gilius? I mean, it's probably not a situation you've found yourself in yet, but maybe at some point in your career that will happen. Where you actually make more from streaming than you would from playing. Do you think that's potentially a problem for the competitive scene?
I wanted to say something different.
Yeah, jump in, say whatever you want.
Like, so if Piglet is my new AD carry at my team, I would be so motivated to play and try to get into the next World Championship. And it was kind of surprising that he's like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah. But, I mean, I think he was thinking about it for a while, Gilius, actually.
Yeah, probably.
And I think the Piglet thing, if anything, probably is, delayed the announcement that some of us were expecting it, but like you say, when Piglet was signed, we all said the same thing. We've said it on this show, like Curse could be genuine contenders for that 4th place again. So
yeah, but can they even replace Voyboy with a better?
That was a nice meme there, Richard.
Thank you.
I'm back, by the way.
Yeah, we're back. So Gilius is talking now, Josh. You have to wait your turn.
Oh, I don't think Josh heard what Gilius said. Did you hear what he said?
Yeah, I heard what he said.
So I mean,
about how he'd be motivated if Piglet. Yeah.
Well, it's perhaps a similar situation to what we've been talking about with xPeke, Gilius. I mean, do you rate Voyboy? How highly do you rate him as a player?
I think he's not like the best. He's fine, but does NA even have the talent to replace him like with a better mid laner.
What is it? Yusui was the
I
one
mean,
that-
NA mid laners is like EU bot laners. They're just not that good.
Oh my.
Lame.
So here you go, Josh. You're back in the room. Obviously,
Yep,
I mean,
get-
if
Voyboy.
Jesus is an NA, I guess that's true. I'm just joking.
Whoa.
Could someone burn the
Oh,
bridge for
man.
me? Thanks.
Right.
Oh my god.
I mean, but like, who are the options? I mean, I know Laud might have been talking about trying out, so there could be him. Yusui is on LoL Pro right now, so he's close to the Curse family. Kian is in Curse Academy, so that could potentially be. But I mean, by taking one of those mid laners, they're basically saying to their challenger team, like, "Yo, counting on you to get into LCS, not happening. Let's just take your mid laner."
So,
Fuck you. That's basically.
so
I
come
can
on.
maybe take Lot. I am Lot. Do you know?
So come on,
LOD.
Josh.
LOD.
Yeah, that's Laud. LOD.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
haven't even answered the question about, is it a money motivated thing? Like, again, imagine, and again, I'm making you imagine lots of stuff here, Josh, but imagine you were in a situation where you were both a very popular streamer and considered one of the better players in your particular position in NA. This might be quite a leap, I know. But if those things were true, and you could make more money from one than the other, you would go and do that thing, wouldn't you?
Yeah, probably. If like most of the competitive drive wasn't there anymore. If I felt like it was getting too, boring, I guess. Yeah, I definitely enjoy being a streamer and just make all the money and not have to give a shit. Absolutely.
So what do you? I mean, why is it then so controversial? Like, players never talk about it. Like, so when we saw it with I'm a Cutie Pie, and it was like these very abstract reasons for stepping down from the team. And in Voyboy, it's kind of like, oh, it's been on my mind for a while. There wasn't really any clear explanation for why I made the decision. Why can't players just say, actually, this is financially better for me?
Because that would make them look shallow and unappreciated. And
Yeah,
not unappreciated.
I mean-
It would make them look shallow. And everyone wants to like the nice guy, not the guy who's in it for the big money. Like no player is openly going to say it's like, yeah, I just really want the money. And it's not going to end well with the community. Like, there's going to be a potential amount of people that are going to appreciate that and be like, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, we kind of base our careers in real life based on promotions to make more money. Like, why do you take the promotion? Because it pays better. Because it's a better job. But in esports, apparently it would be going to be like, you sold out, right? A lot of people would view it that way. And that in some ways puts a negative image on you. And at the same time, having a negative image could affect stream numbers, which is basically what they're going to be making their money on.
So, but I don't understand it. Should the community have their eyes open about it? Like, it's great to play in teams and win things and be amazing, but this is also people's livelihood. So, when no one's complaining about, oh, the Koreans are going to China because of the money. God, what fucking sellouts. Everyone's saying, well, fuck it, dude. Like, that's a crazy amount of money. They've got to go. They've got to take it. Isn't China going to be so strong right now? This is the kind of thing people are saying. No one's condemning the players for taking the money that's on the table. So why would we condemn players for doing it where streaming is related? Surely it's up to organizations, teams, the league, sponsors to redress that balance so NA and EU keeps their best talent.
Actually, like, the more I think about it, couldn't Voyboy have been making more money on Curse? Because I know that Curse does individual sponsorships as well as overall sponsorships, right? With their players.
Curse has got money in the bank, dude.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Seriously.
sure that Voyboy is being paid a stupid amount on Curse because, I mean, he is actually the face of their organization, like alongside Saintvicious. Like when I think Curse, I actually really think Voyboy and I think Saint. Like, those are the veterans of that team have been for a long time. So Voyboy would have actually been making a stupid amount of money on Curse. So maybe it's not only fueled by money.
So here's another question then. Could this be a blessing in disguise? Open to everybody here. Because we know that, Voyboy was so good as a top laner that Riot had to nerf every champion he liked. And then all of a sudden, he wasn't as effective as a top laner. Then he moved to mid. It's been a bit hit and miss. I think that's fair to say. I think he was starting to pick it up, but he had some good games. He had some bad games. He certainly wasn't consistent. So could this actually work out for Curse? It might be a bit short notice, but perhaps replacing Voyboy long term could actually work out for them and make them a stronger team.
It honestly depends on who they get. Like, yeah, you could honestly look at any roster change as a blessing in disguise, because like there's a lot of potential, and we're throwing that word around like CLG does to who they get. But I mean, realistically, who are they going to get? If they get someone like, let's say Laud. Laud could literally be like a sleeper. I'm just like putting his name out because he's probably one of the candidates for a tryout if they were looking at NA mid laners. He could potentially be like with a practiced regiment, when he's motivated, he could actually just like destroy every mid laner and be the best mid laner in NA. Like, he could be. No one really knows. If they get someone like that, then yeah, it could work out. But realistically, they don't really have much to work with at this point. Like, they could have done another split with Voyboy, and he would have performed okay, pretty good, maybe really good, and then looked at their options from there. But right now, it doesn't look good for a replacement, because I think right now, Voyboy is better than Keen and Laud. Like, I think
interesting. I mean, Keen made me a fan.
Like, I think Keen is good. I think people really overrate him. But to say someone's overrated doesn't mean to say they're not good, because I think Keen is actually really good. But I just think that people overrate him, how good he is. Because I think he's pretty good, just not like incredibly amazing. Like, holy shit, this guy's fucking gift of God.
Do you think that's fair, Josh? Obviously, you know the guy. You'll play against the guy, so.
That's actually a pretty fair assessment of Keen, in my opinion. I mean, he had that really great set against CLG. But I mean, what was that really saying, It was a down-and-out CLG with Link performing poorly. And everybody thinks he's like, all right, Keen's ready for LCS. Like, not so fast. I mean, Keen's a great player. He's probably one of the top 3 mids in the challenger scene. But is he like on Voyboy level? No, he's not like he wouldn't be an equal replacement to Voyboy in his current form.
Gilius, any thoughts that you want to add to that?
But we don't know how Keen performs with a LCS team. So maybe he's like much better than Voyboy.
See, this is why we got him on.
That's the other side of the coin.
He's the other side of the coin,
but we don't know, so.
I mean, let's take a look at this, right? Like,
you don't know what you don't know.
On Curse, the main roster, Keon would have a better jungler than Saintvicious, a better top laner than Chris, who's who he had, and a better bot lane than Funny Fufu, Impactful. He would have xPeke, Piglet, who are probably going to be a contender for the best bot lane in NA if they do well together. He would have Quas, who is kind of like a brick. Like, he's solid. He's not incredibly amazing, like superb. He's just good, like overall good. And then he would also have I Will Dominate, who I personally think is one of the better junglers on NA, even though he gets a lot of shit. He's very good. Like, way better than Saint, for sure.
I don't think the xPeke Piglet combo can really be a contender for the #1 bot lane in NA until it has a nickname like Rush Hour. Someone's got to come up with something funny. And not racist.
xPeke, I don't know. Like, we'll figure it out.
It's
too Asian, so someone's got to figure something out.
Josh, come on. This is your time.
Josh, we need you for sex appeal.
I don't know.
Dude, Josh, the only reason you're here is for sex appeal and epic memes, so come on, dude. Time to carry your weight.
You can't, no. Dude. Look, we'll figure it out.
I swear to God, it's going to be xPeke. What else could it be?
That's a problem for another day. So
Hamlet. People are saying Hamlet.
Oh my God,
Hamlet. Oh God.
Because
I never understand that stupid ass hamster nickname for xPeke. It's like the stupidest thing that became a meme. I didn't approve it. Oh my God.
Yeah, well, the chat's.
I'm not okay with Hamlet.
So here we go. Right, this is the big thing. We'll get into DDoSing in Europe. It's happening again, guys. It's history repeating itself. One of the main reasons that we were wanting to talk to Gilius today was because he's definitely going to give us some insight into all of this. So take it away. My understanding is that again, some key matches have been affected by people DDoSing, trying to alter the results, which is something we've seen in the past. Riot still don't seem to have a very good support structure in place. to help those affected. Can you tell us what happened and what your thoughts are, Gilius?
So there were 6 teams fighting for the top 5 spots.
Just could you name those teams for us, so that people who don't know, just name the teams if you remember the names.
Platin Rush, Skulls, so Giants, us. I don't really know the names anymore.
Sparta, XCW, and Faculty, or was it SK Prime?
Yeah. And Faculty.
And Faculty and SK Prime. So yeah.
Yeah. So basically, the game, it was 1 hour left for the ladder freeze, and every game, somebody had a DC, and there was a huge drama. People are saying that I'm So Fresh was DDoSing people, and
which isn't true, by the way. Let's just make that absolutely clear. If anyone is against DDoSing in the league scene, it would be I'm So Fresh.
And it was pretty sad actually that it came down to DDoSing at the end, because I thought it was pretty good competition, and then DDoSing destroyed everything.
The ladder was super tense. Literally the top, between 2nd place and 6th place was separated by 39 points or something. Yep. I think it was actually that much, 39 or 40 points. And I was streaming throughout the entire day and casting the matches, and the different spots just kept changing after every game. Teams were 5th place jumped to 2nd, for 3rd jumped to 6th, maybe 7th, and it really sucked. Towards the last 4 hours, people were just getting DDoSed. I know that SK Prime had to play with Perks, their old mid laner. They had to put him in the top lane, or Godbro in the top lane, because their original top laner was getting DDoSed really hard and wasn't able to play.
So, I mean, what's being done about this? Because, I mean, I remember this shit last time.
Well, let's ask Nintendude. Nintendude, you had to do the ladder rush for expansion tournament, right? With Team Fusion?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it locked already. Was there any DDoSing happening in NA?
There were a couple random DCs, but I don't think that can be linked to DDoSing.
Okay.
Really?
So let's just go
not the. Okay, there were over the last 2 days or so, there were more DCs than I expected. Not in teams we played. I was actually, I think, watching Rap times, and then someone else DC'd a couple times. But it wasn't at the bare end. I don't think anybody had any issues. We got a game in 20 minutes before the ladder locked, and it was completely fine. So
I think people just have to.
I don't know. It wasn't what you're experiencing in Europe at all.
All right.
So do we know who was responsible? I mean, can we make any wild allegations?
Froggen.
Maybe it was you, Richard.
Dude,
I don't want to expect you.
It's true, actually. Maybe I did put some sizable bets.
Reddit seems to think it was me.
No, but seriously, it would stand to reason that whoever was doing it to try and affect the results would be someone with a vested interest in the results.
Someone with a reason, someone involved.
I mean, we know this has gone on in the past where teams have DDoSed other teams. That's definitely happened in NA and Europe.
One CLG EU. Oh, never mind. We're not memeing anymore.
Well, I mean, at the same time, it would be unfair to accuse these players, because it might not be them. It might just be some kid with a strong botnet who just likes to see things burn. I mean, that's kind of been the motivation for DDoS in the past. It's why DDoS? Because you can, right? Because people like fucking shit up, or one person has a strong distaste for someone on the team. I know people DDoSed Summoning Insight because people didn't like Thorin, or it was a well-watched show. I mean, some players on the team, I mean, it's EU West, people hate each other.
Yeah.
Let's be real. I mean, I know that Gilius doesn't. I mean, I'm not even gonna put you out there. Just I'm not even gonna bring an example. Just people really fucking hate each other.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Like who? Now I need an example.
EU West is hell, man.
Okay, Gilius, who do you really hate that's on End Faculty, that's flamed you on Twitter?
Oh, Sauce Perfect, the mid laner.
So Gilius and Sauce Perfect don't have the greatest relationship, and that's all based from solo queue. And I mean, that's just one example, but I'm not saying that Gilius DDoS Sauce Perfect because they weren't. But
no.
I know you didn't. I'm not saying that you were, but I'm just saying
Yeah.
that someone who's high elo in solo queue or has had a bad experience with one of the players could have been DDoSing because they just didn't want that team to succeed.
Well, you can protect yourself so easy from DDoS.
You can, but sometimes it doesn't work.
Well,
So,
I protected my team.
So here we go. This is a very good point. So Gilius, Riot have always maintained that they provide the tools and they provide the advice so teams can stop themselves being DDoSed. I know enough about players to know that more often than not, players are fucking useless. I was just at an event where we were joking about players would just like be at a PC, a communal PC, and they would just have, you know, their fucking Skype open, their Facebook open, and they'd just wander off and just leave it. And you'd be like, you know, well, and they're the same people crying about getting DDoS next week. It's like, oh, I wonder why this is happening, you know. But do you think then that players are to blame? It kind of sounds like that's what you're saying a little bit.
Yeah, the players are pretty lazy. The people that get DDoS, they didn't do shit about it. So what can you say?
So what did you do? How you said you protected your team? So how did you go about it? And why is it you've been able to do it and other players haven't?
You wore a condom.
Well, so I told them to delete everyone from Skype. You can't trust. And then they all made a like proxy Skype with a tutorial and YouTube. And that's it. Like it's not that hard.
But so it sounds like it's basically all coming through Skype, which that's
Skype it's Skype and TeamSpeak. Skype and TeamSpeak. Well, what we did on Complexity before, or on Teams previously before, is like what Gilius said is you either completely log off Skype or reset your IP while you're offline on Skype, so that they don't have your actual IP address, and then go onto a TeamSpeak server that is yours, like a private TeamSpeak server, where no one can see your IP, and that's kind of the surefire way to protect yourself. Because sometimes proxies aren't reliable. It's better to just completely be off Skype.
Josh, NA had a big problem with DDoSerino. I remember talking to a lot of players about it at the time, and I never got around to writing that article because maybe I'm pretty lazy as well. But I know that, again, whenever there's been any sort of important challenger game or anything like that, DDoS seems to be a real risk. And I can't believe that here we are in like 2014, nearly 2015, and we're still having tournaments disrupted by this shit.
Yeah, I mean, you think about that, but when you really realize it, all it takes is one lazy idiot to not proxy their Skype and their Skype to get around for just a match of 10 people for the game to be ruined by DDoS. Like, it's not all that surprising to me that it still happens, just because people are just lazy. People don't want to do it. People don't want to look on the internet. Where can I find a proxy? And then put it into Skype and then have it work well. And, like, yeah. It doesn't surprise me, just because it just takes one person to fuck up and then an entire game's ruined.
I thought this was interesting as well. Like, we were talking about, you know, DDoS, and me and Thorin over the weekend, we were having a chat about it, and he said he doesn't necessarily think that it's like it should be this wild, unexpected thing that a lot of people react to it as, because he said the example he used, because obviously it was Thorin and he talks in analogies, even in private moments. He said if you were sat at home and you were watching a football game and you had a button that could make the player, like a player, fall over when you pressed it, like how long would it be before you started being a dickhead and just spamming the button? Like every time he goes to have a shot at goal, boom. I did that. I made him fall over. And this is what these kids at home are doing. It's like, it's that power. It's that power you get from being able to fuck with people.
This just in, little Timmy is DDoSing Messi. He's having a seizure on the fucking football
Yeah,
field.
exactly. Like, he just keeps doing it. Messi hasn't scored in 2 years. You know, he just... because little Timmy got the button. And it's like, you know, obviously it's not a problem you have to worry about in other fucking games. But, you know, he makes a good point. It's like, and it gets so much attention. I don't know. Some people have suggested maybe the game shouldn't be, like, broadcast or anything like that. Maybe if the games themselves didn't get any attention, or they were played, like, behind closed doors, and people didn't know when they were scheduled, this would, you know, reduce some of the problems. But, you know, I don't think that's an ideal solution either.
I gotta sneeze, so someone else go.
I'm dying of hunger. Gilius, please.
Yeah, I'm pretty hungry as well.
All right, so does that mean fuck talking about European DDoS and we should take a break?
It was a false alarm.
False.
DDoS is bad.
It's a false alarm.
And it
Well,
is-
just stop like adding people in Skype. That's it, and we'll be fine. Like,
Yes.
if you have somebody in your friend list that hates you, he can destroy you so hard. Like,
So, so the final question is then, I mean, does anyone here think Riot could do more to assist players to prevent DDoS? Because I've seen people criticize their anti-DDoS guide and say it's actually, you know, garbage, it doesn't help you, and that they're not very sympathetic when DDoSing happens. I think even if you have fucked up and you have made a mistake, if you get DDoSed and fucked out of a result, there should be a replay, there should be something.
they are playing the first 2 rounds of the expansion tournament online.
I
That's
think what
pretty.
Riot-
That's pretty bad from Riot. They should play like the first 2 rounds offline as well. That would be protection from DDoS.
Like, I think at this point, what Riot could do more is make sure, like, actually make sure that the teams have DDoS protection before the game starts. You know, like literally find a way to make sure that these players are protecting themselves from DDoS, or if they don't, that they sign a waiver that says, I understand that I might get DDoSed and that I can't request a replay. But if they do have the DDoS protection and Riot check it and then they're still getting DDoSed, then I guess the replay is in order. But if Riot actually takes that step and like really, really hammers down on making sure that they have these DDoS protection, what I'm basically saying is Riot really needs to babysit some fucking kids if they really want this problem to go away.
Or just play everything offline and it's fine.
Logistically, that's not entirely always going to be possible, but yeah, I mean, yeah, play everything offline.
In an ideal world. All right, then. Well, look, so everybody wants to have a fucking, you know, break so we can get something to eat. This is great. Like, just the transparency is incredible. But so I think that's a good time to end on, and we'll have like a 10-minute break so you can all feed your faces. When we get back, we're going to talk about Brokenshard, some scrub jungler or something leaving gamers too. I don't know what that's about. Yeah, boom. Zionspartan officially joined CLG. We'll talk a little bit about that, what it could mean. And we'll have a general discussion about drama. Saintvicious made the front page of Reddit because he had the temerity to feed his Rengar. And someone in his game did a QQ, made a Reddit thread, and now we don't know if Riot are going to be forced to kind of intervene and give him a warning. Maybe they'll ignore it. Highly unlikely, but we'll wait and see. So anyway, we're going to talk about all of that and more when we get back after the break. It'll be about usually 5 minutes. I'm going to give you guys 10. So no more burping on air, please. So we'll see you in 10 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Hi there and welcome back to First Blood. If you think you had it bad having to listen to that music and stare at a screen for about 10 minutes, I've just had to watch Brokenshard deep throat a kebab. I don't think I'm ever gonna be the same again. Like literally, you know, like when a snake dislocates its jaw. It was just like that. It was so bad, dude.
I got tips
So
from
bad.
love, Richard.
I'm fucked for life. But anyway, somehow we've got to talk about League after that. So since this Rams put that indelible image into my brain, let's talk about him. Brokenshard left Gamers 2 as the coach stroke analyst for the team. It kind of came out of the blue because it was just last week. He was saying, you know, how great it was and stuff. I'm surprised. Ram, what the fuck?
What are you doing?
What am I doing? Maybe one of you guys want to talk first, or should I have my spiel?
It's your fucking have your spiel. It's your fucking shit, man.
Right. So this morning I was in the kitchen. I was stealing from the pantry as usual.
Obviously,
Ocelot walks in. I get scared. I break a table. No. So
all
So
the
many
memes.
memes.
All the memes.
yeah. So yeah, we had a really disappointing showing in Paris, and a lot of it was due to just a little bit of a not so great atmosphere in the team, which I wasn't really able to fix for Paris. And we ended up planning to replace Rydell from before Paris, and it ended up only being able to happen after PGW. So we replaced Rydell with Kasing. Kasing arrives to the house and we start scrimming. And with Kasing starting to scrim, I developed, with the aid of a lot of people just who are really experienced in project management and stuff, a coaching regiment / boot camp structure, because I'm new to coaching, but I was able to develop with them a huge structure for coaching and boot camping, and like detailed scheduling, replay analysis, time, just individual one-on-one moments with the team. And I showed this to Ocelot, and it looked really solid, and we agreed we would do it. So we do it, and with this regiment, we had been doing really, 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 really well. Like I'm talking like while I was coaching, maybe 2 dropped games over maybe 15 scrims, and not even like, I think one of the games was somewhat close, but we had been doing incredibly well with this regiment. And yesterday, also wanted to have a meeting with me. I already told him that we would have a talk 3 days after we started it to see how we would continue it, and we had a meeting, and basically through the conclusion, it felt that me being in the house wasn't really as needed, you know, and he felt that he didn't need the assistance of an in-house coach for the team to succeed.
Maybe I'm reading between the lines here, Ram, but it kind of feels like to arrive at that decision shortly after you've put a new, practice regime in place. It's almost as if maybe some people didn't like it and they were like, "Can we get rid of this guy?"
Could have been. It could have been, but that's not for me to decide. I mean, basically, we came to a mutual.
Do you suspect it?
Not really. I don't think so, because we now. Oh my God, Nintendude's dead.
I'm alive.
No.
I'm here.
We came to a basically mutual agreement that me being in the house wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
To work it, but I didn't really want to work as like a remote analyst from home, because I don't think that's where my strength lies. And so like we talked for about an hour and a half thinking of different possibilities, and it just came to a mutual agreement that we would part ways. And what's really good about this is actually we just part on good terms. Like we both had different expectations for what we needed. I definitely learned a shitload in my time working as my first time ever being like a real coach. So I know that if I go to a new place as a coach, I'll do infinitely times better. And I mean, it's a happy goodbye. Like, I mean, it's a sad goodbye because we're on good friends, but in a way, it's like, I think both sides will benefit from it.
So here's another question again, because you know me, I don't like to let you off the hook, because I feel we have a nice relationship, so it's okay to say these things. I seem to recall Ocelot saying something about the importance of having a live-in coach, and I think when the last Shadow situation came to a head, that was one of the things he said. Look, it's getting steamy. He's rubbing his glasses. He's like, "Oh God, the sweat."
No.
Stop grilling me, Richard.
No, keep going.
But didn't he say that he needed a live-in coach as part of the rationale for why him and Last Shadow didn't work out. So now all of a sudden it's not deemed as important. I don't know. It kind of feels like that's a little bit contradictory.
It wasn't just him though. It was the entire team had a discussion with him, and it's not only Ocelot coming to the conclusions. It's a group of players, and they all said that like I could pretty much just be doing the same job, but not being in the house, and it's just not necessary to have a live-in coach, considering what's been happening. And I mean, it came to the conclusion that we should just part ways overall.
Josh, you know about these things. It sounds like Ram got fucked. What do you think?
No, I didn't actually get fucked. Like, I could still be the analyst for G2, but I would rather not do it remotely. And we just agreed to the conclusion that I should just part ways. We should just part ways.
So you're still in the house at the moment, though, right?
My flight's tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. Do they know you're still in the house? It's pretty
No,
big.
They don't know I'm still in the house. Of course they know I'm in the house. What the fuck?
Just checking. Just checking.
As long as food keeps disappearing from the pantry, they'll know I'm here.
Yeah, true that.
Nice meme.
Yeah, again to the meme again. Fit it in. I know, Gilius. I'll ask you here. Have you ever worked with Ram?
No.
So you couldn't be. Do you think he might be a good coach? Really? What do you?
I don't know. I think he's. I don't think he can be serious.
There you go. Yeah, Ram.
I think he's like a buddy, like a friend, you know. But
See?
I can't imagine Brokenshard telling me like what to do and stuff like in a serious tone, you know.
They are, Ram.
I don't know. Maybe I have no clue.
There you go. Career's over.
I'm calling someone to DDoS Gilius right now. Say bye-bye to your internet, buddy. No. One of the things that he talked to me about was that I kind of had the mindset of a player rather than a coach, which is kind of justified in a way because I've been a player up till now. That's all I've ever known how to do. And I didn't ask the right people for help in changing that mindset. And that mindset did change really rapidly since coming back from Paris with a new structure and regiment. But, I mean, what Gilius is saying is accurate to some extent. I can be serious. I just haven't shown you because you haven't really worked with me in a serious team setting.
Yeah.
Well, look, I wouldn't worry about it, Ram. I imagine you're gonna have lots of offers. Like when I talked to Last Shadow about what happened with Gamers 2, he said it was amazing because even after all the drama, the offers actually poured in, and it was kind of the best thing that could have happened. And
I'm not worried about offers at all. Not that I haven't received any, because I have received some. I won't really talk about it. I mean, on stream, but there's potential for something to happen. I'm not worried about that. The biggest concern was basically just trying to leave on good terms, and it did work out that way because I still have I don't have any bad harboring feelings towards the guys. They're great guys, and I really like them. Especially Ocelot, we're good friends. There's really no issue, and I'm not really worried about the future because. I'm gonna be real for a sec. I actually need a break in a way. I have been moving around a lot between different places since about this time last year. I moved to NA from Israel like 10 days ago last year, basically, and since then it's been a never-ending move over and around. And going back home, I have some family stuff that I need to take care of, settle some stuff with my apartment, be there for my little brother while he graduates from high school and goes into the army. Like, I got shit to do, like as a person, not as an esports.
Yeah.
And I could use a break. So I'm actually really fucking happy. I know people are like, stay strong, Ran. I'm like, why stay strong? I get to go home. I get to eat shawarma every day. Like, I'm actually happy to go home for a bit and have a break and play Warlords of Draenor or just be like not Brokenshard for a while. That would be really fucking nice.
Yeah, well, you've got the wish. I'm just looking forward to when Ocelot releases a long rambling video about the great Brokenshard betrayal and how if
the betrayal.
How if everyone on the planet was like him,
I would
okay.
never betray Ocelot.
I think Brokenshard's biggest flaw is that he is not like me. He must be more like me.
Ignoring that, I just like this is I'm just gonna be honest, pure answer. I was treated very well on Gamers too. It's great. It was great to be here, and I'm just happy to. I mean, in a way, I'm happy to move on, but I'm also a bit sad that I have to move on.
Well, I'm sure you'll fall on your feet, brother, even if Gilius thinks you're a lousy coach.
Well, it's okay. I think Julius is. I think Julius is a lousy jungler, as you could see from the games that I casted him. So
Holy shit!
Okay.
Right. So
I'm just kidding, man.
let's talk about the confirmed transfer, which was Zionspartan finally joining CLG. I know we talked a lot about this. It was pretty much destined to happen, I think. But you know, what do you guys make of that then? Good move for CLG finally. Obviously, Seraph isn't there anymore. Zionspartan in. He's meant to be this awesome carry top laner. Are they going to let him play his natural game, do you think?
Zionspartan for
Yeah.
CLG. No one saw
Yeah.
this coming. This is brand new information.
But it's actually been confirmed now.
I mean, our resident NA player is dead. I
Yeah,
think.
that's fine. I actually feel he's offering the same amount of input. So at the moment, but yeah, so that's how, because I think traditionally what's happened with CLG is they bring players in and then they try and mold them to fit a particular role, and they've done this, you know, time and time again. Zionspartan has a very distinct play style, and you know, if CLG try and tamper with that, they may end up finding, you know, it's Seraph all over again or whatever. But I think generally people think Zionspartan's going to be a good fit and is actually going to be a massive improvement on Seraph in the top lane.
I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they learned from their mistakes, and
Okay.
that I think that I know Hotshot made a couple of statements after the relegation games that he had the answers to everything but didn't take action for it, and that he promised things would be changed. Like, I'm not really sure what he might be referring to, but I think that, like, in a way, Hotshot has been like, yeah, I've had enough. Like, let's get fucking serious.
Yeah.
And he's going to be doing, I think he's going to be starting to make a lot of the right decisions, or start getting closer to making, like, the best decisions in that. I know it's been said, like, every season, like, this is CLG season, but I might not think that this might be CLG season. I think it's the beginning of an upwards climb for them if they do learn from their mistakes, and if Hotshot proposed changes to the core or to the way that the team works are put in place.
So, Gilius, what do you think about it all? I don't know how much of NA you follow, but I'm guessing you like to watch it. And
Yeah, I like NA. I think Zion is an upgrade to Seraph, but it's more important to get a good jungler and a good mid laner for CLG to be a good team. Oh, you changed your place. Okay.
Come on then. What would you do as well? I got to ask you. I mean, I asked you the same question for Fnatic. So, what would you do? How would you tweak the CLG? Because you know we've talked a lot about Link on this show. I am very much in the camp. I think Link's got to go if CLG are to get to that next level and achieve their potential.
Yeah, I think they should get a new mid laner. I think that guy had enough time to show himself, and if he didn't, then he should just get replaced, in my opinion. They can just get a super good Korean mid laner. They have the money, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's interesting. Somebody pointed this out, but I saw in an interview with Double Lift, he was saying that he hopes Zionspartan is going to play carries, and that, you know, he wants this new dynamic in the team. Maybe they're actually finally going to change this idea that they're a one-star show, a one-trick pony, and actually become, you know, this team that we all suspect CLG could be. You know, somebody just said it there as well. You know, Hotshot's been promising big changes since season 2, and all that people have had is more of the same, even when the roster changes. So I'm hoping that this could be a step in the right direction. Josh, you're back with us.
Hi.
Yeah, and you're in.
Yeah,
you're
we're
in
not outside anymore.
There's a surprising lack of freedom now.
Yeah, so Zionspartan, the CLG, dude. I mean, we all saw this move coming. We talked about it on a couple of occasions, but now that it's finally confirmed, what do you think this does for CLG?
You know, the more and more I think about the move, the more and more it's kind of just like meh to me. Like, it's kind of big, but I mean, I don't know if that alone's gonna take CLG, you know, back to this top 4 team. They have bigger issues than their top lane right now.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, we still don't know what Link's doing. We don't know how the mid and jungle slots are being filled. So the movement itself isn't that big to me.
Have you not heard
so
anything, Josh? Because you're usually very well connected in the NA scene. You usually hear all the rumors. Have you heard anything about CLG?
Actually, no. I can only assume they're doing tryouts right now. We were supposed to scrim them like last week, but that fell through, and we have not played them since. So I actually have no idea what they're doing. But I have heard they are scrimming.
A reliable source tells me you've been having trials for the jungle role.
That is incorrect.
I'm joking. His face. Oh my god. No.
What the hell?
Because we said it about TSM. I know you haven't had trials. You love Team Fusion. So don't worry. You panicked. Blind panic. Maybe there's some truth in it. You got nervous. But yeah, I don't know. I think Zionspartan's a step in the right direction, but I agree with Gilius. I think they got to fucking change mid for sure. You know, like they need a mid and they need a jungler really before they can be genuine contenders again. I think that's just my opinion.
I think it's fun. I think it's funny because what's the word I'm looking for?
Kebab.
No, I ate that. The thing about Link, it's just that we talked about him in the last show, and we gave lots of good examples of games that he really sucked at, and people were still tweeting at me being like, yo, what about Link's Kog'Maw game where he was absolute shit? Or what about this game when he was absolute shit? And it made me realize, like, wow, Link really sucks dick. Or, like, he has a lot of games where he really sucks dick. So, I mean, just wanted to put that out there. People remember. They seem to know more about bad Link games than we do.
Yeah, well, I think it's mainly because, you know, I was going to point out those games, but I think when you start getting a bit too specific, what I find is if you allow the community to say he played really bad in that game, it's okay. If you say he really played bad in that game, the same people will come to you and go, well, actually, man, it wasn't all as bad as it looked, because even though he went 0-16, if you were to look at this chart and turn it upside down, actually, he had a really good game. And it's just like, yeah, okay, cool. Everyone's just such a fucking contrarian, you know? Like, it's very hard to pin players to a wall and call them shit in League of Legends, even when they play inarguably shit. Which certainly, in the relegations, we know Link did. Okay, so this is now that Josh is back. I'll get him while his internet's still good. This is one of the things we wanted to talk about. There was an episode of a rival show, I guess, Challenger Chat, run by the website I used to work for, Esports Heaven. And obviously it focuses on the challenger scene, and they have guests on and they talk about it and how, you know, who's going to win and what's going to happen and all of that stuff, you know, not dissimilar to what we do. But they really singled out Team Fusion on their second episode. And they basically, I think they described you as a bunch of washed up has-beens or something. Did you see this, Josh?
I think I just caught when they started kind of talking bad about us. I caught that part live. I went back and rewatched the whole thing. But it really did feel, watching it, that there wasn't much other perspective on it. It just seemed like there's kind of 3 or 4 people kind of circle jerking on, you know, all the things wrong about Team Fusion, about why it won't work. And that was kind of disheartening from like a talk show. Again, they didn't have the most like informed people. They were just like managers and whatnot, and so they do have limited perspective. And granted, I don't think we had been scrimming much at the time, so all they had to work with was our rank 5 results. You know, they weren't amazing. I mean, we still placed pretty well, but again, we had to play with a sub for the entirety of the time. So people don't know a whole lot about MaKNoodle, and they definitely don't know a whole lot about Huhi, so they're just kind of like, oh, well, you know, MaKNoodle's washed up. Huhi, I've never even fucking heard of that guy, so he must be awful. And they're just like, all right, Team Fusion, they're just going to suck. So that was kind of, yeah.
Well, has this given you like a renewed vigor? Because I got to be honest, I wonder if they're tapping into something that maybe some other people, you know, out there might think. I mean, maybe some people don't know the history of the players, and certainly, you know, I know, and this isn't a surprise to you, so again, forgive me for pointing it out. I know some people have pointed at players like yourself and said that maybe your better days are behind you, and this is, you know, perhaps a desperate kind of move in a way, like it's make or break. So I don't know. Is this giving you guys like a renewed motivation, like to kind of, you know, alter that perception?
I mean, I would say that, but our mentality hasn't been shadowed at all. You'd be surprised what 5 people with want the same goal in mind can accomplish. And this is one of the first teams where I feel like we're 5 people who are striving for the exact same thing. We're all kind of looking for redemption in some sort. We're all looking to get into LCS. That is, the dead goal for us, and we're not going to let anything get in our way. And whether people say, like they're not good enough, whether that's just their way of like coping with the fact that we're just going to fucking destroy everything and they realize we're really good, or if they genuinely think that, it really doesn't bother me, because all that matters is what's going to happen when we play, and I think we'll be fantastic.
Awesome. I've been following MaKNoodle's stream as well. Right? Can you explain to me? Like, I watched the stream and he was playing a lot of Psy on top, and every time he did the Scion ulti, he screamed "America!" What the fuck was that about, dude?
I know that when
You're surprised? That's like a MaKNoodle
he's
thing
ulting.
to do.
It's just a very MaKNoodle thing to do. My favorite is when he's ulting away, because his ultimate, you can't be CC'd, so he like runs out of a fight with it and he just yells "Freedom!" That's my favorite one. So
no, I've not really watched a lot of his stuff, and I was trying to think maybe it was like a piece of performance art, and it was like a commentary on American foreign policy and how they just act like this juggernaut over smaller nations. Was that really what MaKNoodle was saying?
I mean, maybe, but I don't think. I mean, who knows what goes on in MaKNoodle's head? I still don't know. But he's just fucking nuts, and I love it.
All right, well, look, let's get back to some serious stuff. So
not NA, right?
Yeah, well, I say serious. Okay, this was the big piece of drama this week. Saintvicious gone done fed in a game, which I was amazed this made the front page of Reddit. I guess any old shit will get voted there except my fucking content.
Was he really intentionally feeding? I just thought that's how NA players play Rengar.
Memes.
So funny.
Memes. But no, so he fucking
nice meme.
was in a game. It looked like it was lost pretty early on. I think their bot lane got fucked over due to a cheese. Mid lane was like, pretty far behind against an Akali, who we know is a very snowball champ. So Saint just started feeding. The guy who was in the game got mega fucking butthurt about it, created a Reddit thread, and it made the front page. It was really high up. It was like 3rd on the League of Legends subreddit, and it was there for 24 fucking hours. So, what do you guys make of this? I mean, obviously it's a storm in a teacup, but this is the kind of shit that historically... Oh, Sam's playing it. Nice. So here we go. Here's some big Rengar plays coming in. But, historically...
Should we commentate over it? Like...
No. But historically, Riot have intervened on incidents like this. And Saintvicious has had that happen to him before when he's been streaming something. I remember an incident where he was following someone around the jungle as well. That got him a 14-day ban, I believe. So what do you guys make of it?
I thought it was fucking hilarious seeing it on the Reddit.
I thought it was pretty funny.
I mean, this happens like every other day on EU. It's like, it's like for that guy, that was the worst game of his life. For us, that's like a Thursday. Like,
that actually happens a lot, yeah.
This happens way more often than you expect.
There's a guy with mobile boots. He buys mobile boots with home guards, TP and revive, and just runs into the tower and finishes the game with 0.66.
Yeah, there's one guy that does that. There's also a guy called Epic Meme King who just got permabanned, who, if he goes 0-2 in lane, will sell all his items, buy mobile boots, and just continuously run into the enemy tower. This happens all the time on EU, so it was a little bit funny to see. It's like, oh, so Saint's doing this. Like, all right. This, like, actually happens every hour on EU West.
So, but here's the thing, right? Like, on the one hand... So I had a caller in on the phone in that I do trash talk the other day, and he was saying that a guy called Ryan, and he was saying Saintvicious is a role model, and therefore he shouldn't behave like this. And I was like, Saintvicious a role model? Like, is there anyone who's going to watch this video and be like, oh my god, my world is shattered right now. Like, the guy I look up to the most is intentionally feeding with Rengar. That's it for me. I don't believe in anything anymore. You know, is can you realistically say he's a role model? Seriously.
Saying Saint is a role model is like saying that Forgiven is a role model for like nice people. I mean, I'm just saying that I don't think anyone ever saw Saint as a role model for like any particular reason. Even if they did, like this is really like such a fucking small deal. But this isn't the first time something's happened to Saint. Didn't he get banned or something for doing something on stream?
Yeah,
A couple years ago or like a year ago.
Yeah, it was when he followed someone took jungle off him and he just followed him around and he was spamming laugh and basically outsmiting him, which was the only time I've ever seen him outsmite anybody actually. So memes, guys.
Gilius, what do you think, man?
Yeah,
I don't think it's a big deal, man. Like I had a game where I did it as well, you know. Like I played like 20 solo queue games a day, you know, and I was like, I don't know, I was just mad, you know, like all the time. And there's a game where I know it's over anyway, and I just run into towers, you know. It happens.
So, but I've never done it. What's the mindset? Like, why do people tilt like that then? Because it seems to me the thing you're upset about is losing. But if you go and intentionally feed, then you definitely lose. It's always struck me as a really illogical thing to do.
But if you are on a losing streak, and you know, like when you look at like the tab at the enemy champs and the players, and you know it's already over, then you don't give a shit, you know.
Yeah, but it's solo queue. It really is never it really is never over. Like even at the highest level, the amount of retarded throws that you see, like you can't believe that these people are elite players because the decisions they make is so insane. Yeah. Like, you know, throws at Baron, you know, fucking people like so far ahead, they decide to do some fucking split push and, you know, just split pushing permanently until the other team somehow get back into it because they win a bunch of 5v4 fights, you know, and it's just like, you can't believe that's the highest level of play. So, I you know, and this is talking as a fucking gold scrub, you know, but it really feels a lot of times like even the games that should be over actually aren't over. And I know you think someone of Saints experience would probably know that. But on the other hand, what you're saying is sometimes games are over and you should just be able to end them. What's the answer? Because would you suggest bringing the surrender option forward a little bit so you could surrender on 10 minutes, for example?
I think if you get any one of these 5 players on your team, you should be able to FF the game at like 3 minutes. Like if you get Nastrid, Maki Makesh, Mean King, Shaco or Enjoy, or God Gilius on your team, you should probably FF at 2 minutes. Like, I mean, it's just become like common. I think that it's just a matter of perspective. What the fuck? All right, to NA players, this is like the worst thing that's ever happened to NA solo queue. Like this is unacceptable. To EU players, this like happens every other day. So by perspective, this is like, it's not really a big deal. Like it's kind of what's the word? Like it's tame compared to shit that happens here. So like,
but I think EU solo queue is actually pretty good. Like 600 LP plus, you know, we have like really high quality games where everyone
I'm a bad player.
tryhards.
I don't get up to there, dude. I'm stacked between like Masters and Diamond 1.
Yeah.
So like I get stuck.
Play the games, you know.
Yeah.
That's why you're the coach.
Yeah, basically.
So what about you, Josh? Though this drama. I mean, do you think Riot should intervene? Does Saint need a slap on the wrist, in your opinion?
Dude, I'm sitting in a Rengar game going 0-16 right now. Hell no, that's perfect. But no. Honestly, I think what happened got taken way out of context. I mean, the game was probably fucking over once he started defeating anyway. I think the guy on his team was probably butthurt and looking to get Saint in trouble for some reason. I mean, he'll probably get a slap on the wrist, but I mean, come on. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I don't think
just
so
one
either.
game.
But, you know, it just seems to be whenever anything like that gets to the front page, before you know it. I mean, to you know, point to other examples, we know that Nuke Duck and Mithy ended up getting a ban based on a screenshot, which was from a custom game where it was all friends that they invited, and they were taking the piss. They were like being satirical about how bad EU West is. So they like spammed in chat like, haha, gonna gas you all trash Jews. because that's like how a typically US player talks. They
Yeah.
thought for among friends, someone leaked the screenshot, and that's what got them banned for 6 months. So,
What?
Could you
Yeah.
repeat yourself? I didn't hear what you said. What,
Yeah.
what was the exact insult?
it was ha ha ha, gonna gas you all trash Jews. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what they said. I
MaKNoodle,
don't know why that
please.
would be particularly awkward in this setting. That's verifiable. I'm not saying that to be like edgy or whatever. That,
Nah,
that
it's
is,
not edgy. I know. I'm just fucking.
that,
with you.
that's what they said, dude. I know you hear worse on the US every day anyway, dude.
No, it's not about that. It's more that in a way, this might be like, I don't know. I haven't, like, from my experiences playing with Saint and solo queue, he wasn't toxic or trolling. So this could actually be a really isolated incident taken completely out of context, whereas the Nuke Duck Mythy thing has something that's been an ongoing thing, which was for a while they were considered quite toxic by a lot of people, and then add on top of that this screenshot would have made it a little. I think it's a lot different than the Saint thing. Like, it's very different because this seems like it would be a very isolated incident.
Well, yeah, but you could equally argue that saying that among your friends has zero impact at all.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas feeding in a game actually does cost that person, 4 other people a game of ranked. So even though that's fuck all, like, I don't think that's very important, except when it's my games, in which case it's very important. But, I don't think that's very important for other people, just for me. And therefore, that's more important than zero consequence whatsoever. The zero consequence guys got banned for 6 months. I'm not pushing for a Saint ban. I think it would be a travesty if any action was taken. But Riot again seem to have this weird scale of punishment for people.
I think the reason that it just got so much traction is because people love to bitch about stuff. Like, people love to complain. And when they see something that's like, yeah, we can base an argument about complaining about this, let's do it.
So, Josh, tell me about the solo queue experience. Like, is it in your mind all the time, mustn't type? Because I think some players, like, all the pros always seem to be like, oh, yeah, he's just completely fucked the game for us. That's okay. And they all, like, are super calm. But, like, I always imagine that actually you must have to be... You've got to really discipline yourself not to type stuff. It's not because all the pros just happen to be super nice people. I think they're like literally holding back from fucking flaming because they know there's consequences out there. So
yeah, I mean, I definitely do hold back and like try not to type because I do take solo queue really seriously, and I do get pissed, but I don't let it show because I know I could get in trouble for it. Like, even people who watch my stream can probably notice I like, it's very hard for me to stream because I get pretty upset in solo queue, but I don't type it, so my team usually doesn't see it. Nobody really sees me as that. When I do stream, I feel like such like a mean person because I feel like I'm just flaming people on my stream all day, and I have to start catching myself when I do that too. So yeah, I mean, I think the first step you can take is just to just not type. And try not to go 0-19. Now, if you don't do that, you should be pretty fine.
So
what getting banned.
What about you, Gilius? You just said that you've even intentionally fed in a game. Are you a bit of a rage machine, or?
Well, I type a bit too much, Like, in the past, I was banned quite a lot,
Yo, you've been banned?
Yeah, of course. Like, people do mistakes, and I'm super tired. I wanted to become a pro, I'm like, why are you doing this? Why can't you just do this and this? And then he's like, shut the fuck up. And I'm like, okay. And then we insult each other,
I love how you say "of course," like it's standard for a European to be like banned.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It is.
Oh my God.
What's the worst thing you've ever said to anyone, Gilius? What's the worst thing? Come on, you can tell us. No one will know. Come on.
Can't.
Yeah, I really can't. It's that bad.
One sec. I actually have the quote right here. No, I'm just joking.
Do you know what though? I would love to get to the stage where players would be honest and open about that. I think that alone could be a show. The worst thing I ever said, featuring Richard Lewis as the host. God. That'd be fucking sick. So hopefully we can make that happen. Anyway,
Spencer might have like a list because things might be equally bad.
He's not that toxic, man. Spencer is not toxic at all, actually.
No, not in person, but over solo queue, yeah.
Yeah, no, he's not.
So you're wrong again, Ram. Do your fucking research, son.
Zionspartan is like not typing at all. He's just writing XDs, like smileys.
Maybe from
That's the worst,
my
dude.
past,
Oh my
my
god.
past experiences with Svenskeren have not been spotless over the game.
You know,
But, I mean,
how we were talking about how X Special and Piglet need a bot lane nickname. Maybe
Yeah.
Svenskeren could come up with one.
Oh my god,
Oh my god. What the fuck?
you're
Just
hilarious.
maybe he's the guy to fix that problem. I don't know.
Who
Probably
knows,
not.
Maybe.
It
But
took
anyway,
a while. It took a while for that one to sink in on Josh. He was
Yeah.
like, oh, and then it was, oh no, what's happening? But yeah, okay. So let's move on to the next topic. So this is a bit of.
No, wait, just quickly, but like I heard
Okay.
from someone told me about like the streamed game that Saint because he was streaming it as well. His entire like you said, the game was pretty much over by the time the video started, and the entire team agreed that they would sit on the fountain because they wanted to end the game, and then one person on the team started shit talking Saint when he was dicking around, and then put the game where Saint was intentionally feeding on Reddit to get him in trouble. The guy's name, I believe, was Thin Yugen or something like that. I can't pronounce that. So, like, that could be true. Like, I didn't actually watch it, but that's what multiple people are telling me that. And that's kind of like the dangers of it, because the dangers of being a pro player and having like doing this stuff, because anything taken out of context can actually really fuck you, because not anyone's really gonna understand the context of it. So, like he wasn't even actually doing anything wrong. If his entire team agreed to sit on the fountain, then like that's fucking boring. Just run into turrets. That's a lot more fun anyway. Like if you can't surrender by then.
So I also got to point out I was wrong. Sorry, they didn't. Mithy and Nuke didn't get banned for 6 months for that chat log. They only got fined for that. So that was what generated the fine.
Right.
It was persist. So I need to get my facts straight, and I apologize for getting them wrong. I don't think Saint will get a fine. I hope not. Anyway, it would suck. He's a top bloke in my opinion. I like him. Do hope to get him on here one day. But we'll wait and see. So let's talk about something serious. And that is obviously the exodus to China is continuing. Deft was talked about for a lot of organizations, and now he's gone out to Edward Gaming. Just get your thoughts about that quickly, guys. I mean, is anyone outside of China actually going to be able to compete with the money that these organizations are spending right now?
No way.
Do you have any specifics on how much they
Hell
offered
no.
Deft?
Oh, I don't know the details of the Deft contract actually.
That'd be really interesting. Probably a
Yeah.
shitload, but
Yeah.
But you know, we've heard about other people who've gone out there, you know, and there's other players are going to be announced as well. Other Koreans are going to be announced for Chinese squads very soon.
But why would you take Deft?
I go on, elaborate. You tell me why you wouldn't.
Like as example, I think Reckless outperformed him, and
did you
I
see
don't
Deft
think-
try?
You
what?
saw Reckless
Nah,
try,
like-
right?
I would pay so much for the Samsung White players, but not for Deft, you know. I don't know. I don't think it's like a huge.
It's an
upgrade.
interesting point, but the reality is when you go out to a region like China, I imagine, I mean, these guys, all these Korean players that go out there are going to be like, you know, we all know the Chinese scene is good, but when you combine the popularity that they're going to have because everyone's going to be interested at the foreign imports, you know, that's a staple of any sport. When you sign a foreign player, you know, someone who's not from your region, everyone pays more attention to them. But equally as well, just in terms of skill level, the Koreans have always been a cut above. So even somebody who you might not think is a number one pick in a particular position is still going to probably be godlike to a lot of the talent that's already out there, right? I guess that's the thinking behind it.
I think it's more about the mindset and the work the team puts in, you know. It's not there's not like the word talent doesn't exist in my opinion. Like you can build every player into the best player.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
That sounds like something a bad player would say.
I don't know if I agree with that necessarily. I mean, what do you think, Ram? You're a coach.
I mean,
Or were a coach.
What? I think that a lot of players have some untapped potential and could potentially be a lot better than they are, but I don't think that applies for every player, and not every player can be the best. I mean, you're sitting here and telling me that people like Nastrid could be like top tier players, Gilius.
Yeah,
Or
of course.
I just can't believe that it can be applied to some players to scale and make them better than they are and help them reach their full potential. But I don't think that. Yeah, he's laughing about how ridiculous that statement was. I don't think that that applies for every player, and that no one player could, like a Bronze 5 player, could be coached and like groomed to be like the greatest top laner of all the world. Like, I don't think that's possible.
Well, whatever.
You've done it. You've made him throw in the towel, Ram. He's not even going to argue his point to you anymore.
I think that what he said could be applied to some scale, but I don't think that it can apply to everybody. You know, like, it just wouldn't work.
So, just to finish off, we've got a little bit of expansion tournament news to talk about, and that is obviously Kubon and Celaver going to Reason Gaming for the expansion tournament. Gilius, what do you think of this?
Again, I didn't hear what you said. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. The Kubon and Celaver going to Reason Gaming for the expansion tournament.
Oh, right. Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah. So what do you think? Do you think this is a good move for Reason Gaming?
Yeah, of course, it's a really good move. But with the 3 players from the old lineup, I don't think they can make it into the LCS because they need to keep them, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't think they can make it, but they look way stronger than before, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But
so,
who knows? Maybe they are super good.
Yeah. So are they like kind of contenders now? Do you think for the European expansion? You don't think they can do it? What about you, Ram? Obviously,
I actually agree with Julius.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Kubon is okay, and Kubon's okay. But like, I don't really see that working. Do we have any idea who the other players might be? Because would it be like Kondisan or Yokis? No, Yokis was the old top player. Yeah, I don't see it happening. Like, I mean, Libic's okay, but I just don't think that it would work really well for them.
The name of the jungler is like Xayu. I don't
know.
Oh, if it's Zayu, then there's no way.
No.
I don't think Zayu is good at all. Like that I don't think that's going to work out very well at all.
What's so bad about Zayu?
Yeah, what's so bad about Zayu, Ram?
I mean, have you watched games with Zayu in it? Like,
yeah, all the time. European Challenger scene games is actually my forte.
Me and Josh get together on Skype, and when we're not being DDoSed, we sit there, we eat popcorn, and we're like, hey, why don't we watch some, obscure Challenger European games? That's what we do.
I mean, historically, Zayu has gotten out-jungled by almost every Challenger jungler in the EUCS. Very low early game pressure, and it really wasn't him that was carrying the games for Reason Gaming or the teams that he was on. It actually was Kubon who was doing the best on the team. And
yeah.
I mean, Kubon is quite good. Like, he did okay on Gambit. So, like, for Challenger top laner, he's fine, but I just don't see it happening at all for Reason Gaming.
We've talked a lot about the NA expansion tournament in past shows. We've really not paid any attention to the European expansion tournament.
It's only been recently locked anyway, so.
Yeah, we had the H2K manager come on Trash Talk last night to talk about this whole situation where the expansion tournament's going to be played on the first couple of weeks or the first couple of games are going to be played on one patch, and then it's going to switch to another patch partway through the tournament. And he was worried. Well, not worried, but I think he was aggrieved at the prospect of his team, H2K, one of the favorites for the tournament, maybe potentially getting cheesed because yeah, that's what he was saying. So why?
You can, like, we have 3 weeks to adapt to the new patch. Like, it's 3 weeks is a lot, and everyone is like equally fucked. So, like, if you are too lazy to adapt to a patch, then you don't deserve to get into the LCS.
Well, that was Odie's point. Actually, Odie from Dignitas came onto the show and basically argued exactly what you're saying, Gilius, that the best teams adapt. It's adapt or die. This is the nature of any MOBA game where you have patches that change things. I'm guessing you agree.
Oh, it's not that huge, Just the jungle changes a bit. I don't know.
But Ram, don't you think it's a bit weird that Riot having it so it's a one patch part way through and then it changes during the tournament?
I mean, I saw it coming. Like the expansion tournament was solid, and then I just figured there's something's gonna happen to screw it all up, and this is it. But I mean, they've been doing this every single time since season 2, introducing the new patch to the relegation games, but I guess the expansion tournament gets that now. It's not that crazy because apparently 3 weeks for the new patch is more than enough time to practice and be ready for it.
What about you, Josh?
I mean, I'm kind of on the same boat as Ram. I've kind of grown to expect it. Yeah. 3 weeks is going to be a long time, and I don't think there wasn't that much planned in terms of changes besides the jungle changes and maybe a couple item changes. So I don't think it'll be as hefty as some of the other preseason changes we've seen. I think 3 weeks is plenty of time to adapt myself, but it is kind of frustrating that all of a sudden, hey, we're changing patches.
Do you think there's a risk? I mean, the guy from H2K, a chap called Richard, great name, gotta say. He was worried about
bullshit. Oh my god.
I mean, the hot fixes will have been out, so hopefully some of the super lame stuff like the Cleaver Fever meta that was
double
around
Targons.
season 3,
double
Targons, all that shit.
Yeah.
All that shit, it won't be, viable. So I'm not really that scared of cheese. If it happens, it shouldn't be that overwhelming. I still think the better teams will win.
Suddenly a Zingy's team becomes the best team because of his cheese.
I mean, I still think the 2 best teams will win. I don't think cheese will be that big of an issue.
The thing is, if it was best of ones, with the new patch, I would say okay, then it's understandable that they are scared of cheese. But it's best of 3s and best of 5s, so you can just adapt in the series.
Yeah. If you lose game 1,
yeah.
Oh shit! I cut out. If you lose game 1 to jungle TP Heimerdinger, it's all right. Game 2, you're probably gonna ban the jungle TP Heimerdinger, and if you're the better team, you'll probably win. So, it'll be fine.
All right. Okay. Cool. Well, I think that brings us to the end of a crazy show. It's been up and down. I know, Josh, you've got important scrims coming, haven't you? Big practice. Yeah. Look, he's done. He's already gone. He's had enough.
A little late. Ooh.
Oh, there you go.
That's all good though.
Awesome. Well, look. So let's do the shout outs and the thanks and stuff. First things first. I want to thank you, Gilius, for coming on the show, dude. I know we kind of dropped it on you about 1 hour or something before we went live. So I really appreciate it. Tell us about Demon Logs and any shout outs or anything that you might want to give.
Thanks that I was part of the show. It was it was fun, and we will try our best in the expansion tournament. Show a good performance. That's it.
Do you have any idea who you guys are going to play in the first round, by the way?
I heard rumors about Millennium in the second round. That would be painful and pretty hard, but yeah, I think we can make it still, even if it's Millennium.
Well, looking forward to seeing how you perform, brother. It's definitely a lot at stake, and I know you're a guy who's had a bit of an up and down career of late. So I'm wishing you all the best. I'll be rooting for you guys. Ram, obviously onwards and upwards for you. You'll have more time to stuff kebabs down your gullet now.
No, shawarma.
Sorry, it'll be shawarma. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I gotta be very careful about that. Careful. So what are you gonna be doing soon, brother? Any plans?
Me?
Yeah.
Play some WoW, some Worlds of Draenor, maybe stream a bit. Look at my options, talk to some people, and see what happens. Obviously, I want to be a coach for an LCS team, and that could potentially happen. But I mean, the main goal is I'm just going to look at my options, take it easy for a bit, and not stress out. Because the next team that I join or the next thing that I do, I want to look for the long term rather than something short term.
Okay, and look, I'm even going to do this. What about you, Josh? Mm-hmm. And you're going to learn about Europe for next week? Awesome. So that's how we've done everybody. I'm just going to quickly tell my producer, Sam, who, of course, I've got to give thanks to. He sits there in total silence and puts up with all of our shit and makes the show possible. So mad respect to Sam. But of course, mad respect to all the people who tuned in. I saw a few celebrities in the chat there. Saw Big Odie, who just tweeted that he's going to be revealing, well, not revealing, but his players are going to be in the house in LA very soon, his new players. So no doubt that will get revealed. Some eagle-eyed person will spot who they're going to be. So looking forward to the big news from Dignitas. I recommend you guys stay up all night waiting for it. And of course, Trick2G, who often graces us with his appearance in the chat. So thanks a lot. And of course, thanks to all you people. Thanks to all of the subs. Thanks to everybody. And also Dentist, who made a great little image that we're going to end the show on. I'll wait for Sam to bring it up for us. Dentist made a beautiful picture.
The squad, boys.
Yeah, see if you can spot the difference, guys. We'll just wait. I'm waiting, Sam. Don't leave me hanging. We're waiting. We're still waiting. Come on, Sam. You've got this.
God damn it, Sam. You had like 8 jobs, man.
Well, sorry, we'll cut this awkward bit out of the VOD, hopefully. Please, Sam. Please get this.
I'm gay, but no one will see this. That gets cut out, right?
Has he done it yet? I don't think he has.
Wait, we're still.
Oh, there we go. Okay, awesome. So, well done, Sam. Incredible. Oh, there it is. So, thanks to Dentist for making that picture. Again, if you can spot the difference, you win a prize. A great work from him. So, such a nice image. So anyway, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Thanks to all my co-hosts. Josh, I did actually do shout-outs when you weren't on air. Is there anything you need to say before we go? Anything?
I'm dying.
Think he's muted. It's gone well. Right, okay, well, it's the most shambolic end.
Oh my god, I was going to say shout out to my shitty proxy for messing up every 10 minutes. We'll get that fixed for next time. Have a great night.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you next week on First Blood. Peace.